Hi everyone, Sam Wenzel from Sam's Woodland Tours here, and today we're talking about making char cloth. So things you'll need: a nice hot fire, which we have. I have a grill on it to make things a little easier, but sometimes I do it without a grill. We need a tin. In the top of this tin we need a hole. The tin can be a variety of sizes, but what's really going to matter the most is that it's not going to melt on you, and that you have a good surface area on the bottom that you can place your char material that you're going to char in it. You also need a small pointy stick that will go in the hole on your lid of your tin. And you need some cotton. So what you need is 100% cotton. So I'm using an old shirt, and I cut it up into little squares, and I'll actually show you one of these squares. Nice close-up of that. The reason why you want it small, you don't want it too small, but you want to try and envision what you're using this for. So if you're using this for flint and steel fire lighting, you're going to want to maybe place it on top of your flint piece of rock, basically. Or if you're using it for just speeding up or taking a spark from anything, you're going to try and envision what size. You have to think about what size you want it for. I kind of have it down to the science where I can just eyeball these little squares. So you want a good amount. You'll be able to experiment with your process, how many you'll put in a tin at the same time. So I've got, I'm going to do a little layer here on the bottom of my tin. And I won't do too many, just because I like to see them baked in this video. So I've got a few in there. Whoops. So again, that's 100% cotton. You can use an old shirt. Some people, I've heard of people using jeans. I've heard of, actually I've done it with cotton balls. You get a nice charred black cotton ball. But what we're going to do is we're going to place this right on the fire. So the tin actually is going to act like an oven. You have fire heat coming directly from the bottom, and you have heat coming from the sides in this situation. If you have it so you're in a yard or you're at a base camp and you happen to have a grill, or if you can cut some green pieces of wood and place it across so you can gear up some form of frame that you can set this on, it's kind of nice to have it up out of the fire. I have leather protective gloves on, so I can just reach in and grab it if I need to. But if you don't have that option, we'll talk about that in a second, a couple of sticks where you can take it off the fire. So what's happening here is the char cloth, or the cloth actually on the inside, has ignited. And that's what you just saw. I didn't really narrate that, but the flame shooting up through the hole and from around the sides of the lid, that was actually the material and the air inside the tin had ignited. So we had to extinguish that. So usually what a lot of people will say is that you're looking for when the smoke is coming out of the hole, you plug it off with a stick. I had it on a really nice hot fire. I've got a bed of coals built up, as you can see, and lots of hardwood burning. So I had a lot of heat. So we'll just open this up and see if it's ready. There we have it. That's actually really fast just because of the heat of the fire, and I didn't have a lot of pieces, but we have a nice fresh piece of charred cloth. Char cloth is really handy for using with flint and steel. And when you're getting into historical aspects, you want to make sure that you know that they didn't always use, back in the day, charred cloth. They did use it actually, but sometimes they would use other materials. But you would char cloth basically like I would right now from a rag, something I'm not using anymore. So for those into history, you'd know that if you're living out in the woods, you don't necessarily want to burn your clothes. You want to wait until it's really no longer useful. So another time we'll talk about making other charred materials, but I want to just quickly demonstrate how this would work. Oh, this is some nice stuff. Nice burning char cloth. And what you do now is you'd put this into your tinder bundle. I no longer have a tinder bundle because we already have fire, but there we go. Also handy if you have a ferro rod or metal match, as some people like to call it. Even if you just have a lighter. If you just want something that'll hold an ember a little bit longer than whatever time you have, because your tinder isn't ideal for taking sparks from a flint and steel or a ferro rod, you need to buy yourself a little bit of time, a little more heat, a little bit longer. Charred material is a pretty handy thing to have. So I'll just toss that right in the fire. So if you found this video useful, feel free to make comments down below, click like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.